What's up, y'all? This is Tony Ali, the Gene King. You are now entering High Risk Radio. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it.
Here we go. And we live. All right, welcome to High Risk Radio. This is your man, Tony Ali, the Gene King. And I want to welcome today my friend and clothing designer, Jeff, and my co-host, Danielle. And,
Plus Sexy Fashions.
And my other friend, Penny.
Hello.
We can hear you. All right, so I want to thank you for coming today and letting us know a little bit about your business. You know, I've known you for a while, so I want the world to know what you're doing and what you're up to. So let's tell me a little bit about Zunique.
Okay, Zunique is a clothing line, urban edge, urban vibe. It's a streetwear with a little bit of class to it. I created maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I had a vision, and it originally started from the name Kenzu. But when I went to trademark it, it was a designer that said I was compromising his name. He's well known now. It's called Kenzo. So I said, okay, Lord, how can I still take this name and not lose it? So I flipped it. And when I flipped it, it came up Zunique. And I like Zunique better because, you know, sometimes when we're in the world, we're a little wild anyway. So it creates the name Zunique like crazy wild with the clothing line. So that's how I came up with the name Zunique. And I took Zunique. And I kind of originally started, I wanted to do a children's line, but it started birthing into urban like streetwear. I started seeing myself designing stuff that looked like, you know, pieces in a magazine. So originally I didn't know how to sew. Everybody knows I could draw. I'm gifted at that. And a young lady named Sonia came in and taught me in 30 days how to put garments together. And from there, I've been sewing clothes. Didn't go to school or anything. So that's how it actually started. Tony knew I always talk about it. You know, I could wear it, rock it. I just could not put the garments together. And now I'm putting the pieces together, and I'm like a little kid in the candy factory.
Hey!
Just doing things, just creating these vibes, seeing these pieces in my mind, and bringing them into reality. And people are loving them. Even my sweatshirts and hoodies that I'm designing now, people just loving them. Just my creative flow.
Okay, wonderful. So I wanted to know, like, what was your inspiration? What really, like, because I know for a lot of people, it's, you know, sometimes fashion is one of those things where they kind of put on the back burner because they, you know, trying to live life and trying to, you know, make income. So what was your inspiration and what made you finally decide to step out on faith and, you know, do this, the fashion thing?
Well, to me, mine was the process. You know, God kind of processed. He gave me 3 visions. He gave me my shop, which is Jabor Salon Barber Day Spa. He told me I would start painting, and because I'm an artist as well, that those 2 revenues would create the revenue for me to be able to buy the garments, to be able to pay the models, to be able to do some of the things that I need to do. So in the last maybe 2 years, because I've had a shop maybe 10, 11 years, the residual income started coming in where I could do things. A lot of times when we try to do the things that we desire, it's hard to do it when you don't have the capital.
Hello.
You know, to do it. So I just trusted in faith and just, you know, kept, you know, believing and kept moving forward. Even when I did not feel like it was going to happen, I kept pursuing it and being persistent about what I knew in my heart I always wanted to do. And when it was time, the people just lined up. Everything just lined up. Everything's a timing. You know, we can't force it. We can't try to make it, you know, happen when we want it. It's just a timing. And I felt like everything fell right in place in the timing that it needed for me to fall in place. I think I was mature and ready to do it and do it fully without any hesitation.
Right.
I have one question.
Sure.
Piggybacking off of that, when you deal with people, I know we can't do this by ourselves. Yeah, you pray, you know, faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
But what kind of people did you have around you to help you get to where you are?
That's another thing. In the process, when when you're trying to get to that place, I think we're the people that's the person that has the vision is being taught how to deal with different people, because we're going to deal with different things in life. In my walk and the things I experienced, I had people that I was just talking to them, my team that's here now, when we was in the car, that I had a lot of people that saw the vision, told me they was good and they were down with the vision, and then they try to take the vision from underneath me. But God told me that I didn't have to really worry about that. I was really stressed about things that were going on around me. But it taught me to be a better person, that, you know what I used to allow people to get me out of character, I learned to give it to him and not allow them to take me off focus where I was going. Once I did that, it made the process easier for me to reach it. Because you have a lot of distractions trying to get to your purpose.
One other question on that. So how did you filter out, or how did you get the discernment on who you need to have in your corner when it came around? Oh, okay.
It normally just happened when he would reveal it to me through the studying and seeking him. Normally, if they did not line up with the purpose, they would just leave.
Okay.
And that was the hardest part for me, because I'm loyal to people, and for people to leave, that wasn't easy for me, because I always had people in my corner. So when people walk out, I was hurt and wounded. But he had to teach me that in that you're gonna have people come in and out your life in seasons, and you have to get used to that. And they're for a particular season, and then it's time for them to go. Some of them are long term, some of them are short term, and that's what I learned. I said, okay, this season up, I'm good. I got to keep it moving. That was my mindset. That's how my mindset started.
Oh, well said. Amen.
Yep. So when you think about the pieces that you design, I mean, I know most people have some level of inspiration, as far as, like, say, color palettes, or, you know, the particular design itself. What were your inspirations?
Well, a lot of times, say I'm doing an event or something, I would go to the fabric store, I would see the fabrics, but then all of a sudden, he would start giving me the looks. The thing that would happen with me, once I start putting the garments together, the line just starts coming together itself. So I could take a piece like I did with Rain with the Palazzi tweed pants. I would take that pattern and I would piggyback off of that particular pattern, and I would see what other colors are incorporated in that pattern and bounce other colors off that to create the line. So that's how I learned, and I didn't realize I had the gift to do it. I guess because I'm already a natural artist, I see stuff that people wouldn't pick up in garments. I could see them. So that's how I created. So it would make the lines mesh really well. So if you know, like she has a brown, it's orange little dots in the tweed.
Right.
So I pick it back a pair of orange pants, and it was like, oh my God, it's orange, and it would just collaborate really well with the pieces.
Right.
The collection.
So, you know, when we I know me and you discuss fashion all the time, because, you know, me owning Wrist Denim and you owning Zanique, we talk about, you know, fashion here and there, and I wanted to know, like, where do you go to buy your garments? Because, as you know, I'm more of a wholesaler, and you're more of a designer. So where do you actually seek out the garments? Where do you seek out the accessories, you know, or the pieces for your garments?
Well, I initially started at what's the garment place here? The fabric. Joann's.
Oh.
Joann's.
Oh.
But with Joann's was limited me. The fabrics and the things that I saw in my mind, they didn't have it, so I had to go up north. I had to go to places like DC, New York, and the pieces that I really wanted, they had them. So I do a lot of traveling now. If I want to get the pieces that I know that are going to be the quality and the look, I know I can't get it from Joann's, because Joann's is not a fabric store that deals with high-end fashion. It's just a fabric store. It's just basic fabrics.
Right.
But if I'm going to be dealing with the high-end and I want to see my stuff on the runway, I know I'm going to have to go up north where I know those type of fabrics are going to be available for me.
All right. So, yeah, I want you to, again, because like I said, you know, the way I pick fashions and the way you do it is totally different. So I want you to go through the process of how you actually design a piece. What is your steps?
Okay, the initial thing that I do is I sketch it out. I sketch the look out. Once I sketch the look out, I think of what colors that I want to use, what pattern. Like now, the next thing I'm doing, I'm actually going to do the Heartbeat Gala. and I know it's red. So I know that red's going to be incorporated, but then as I thought about the red, I started seeing like the plaid colors and stuff, and I started seeing jackets we created almost like the throw jackets. That's why I started seeing this classy look. So it's weird how he gives it to me. He shows it in my mind. I never saw it. It's crazy, but I see it now. As a designer, I can take, an event that somebody may be doing, and he'll just start giving me the look. And it'll come from a basic color. And then basic color will piggyback off of a tweed or a plaid. And then once I see the pattern, other things will piggyback off of that. It's actually seeing the pieces that actually make you want to create the looks, the colors. But the initial thing that gets you started is the sketching out of the look. I could do that all day. I could draw all day. It was just me actually taking the patterns and putting them together that I was missing for me to be that designer that I was trying to be.
Right.
Well, question. So who do you gear towards? Straight models, plus size, or all
I
of
go
it?
to all of it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to limit myself because fashion is fashion.
Mhm.
And I've seen so many people I know from my experience, because my sister, she's a heavy young lady.
Oh, we
She
said
has-
plus sexy right here.
Plus sexy.
Yeah, that's the movement for me. That's the name of
Plus
it. Plus sexy
fashion
fashion.
right here.
She kicked the inside, she brought that.
Yes. Won't she do it? Yes, she will.
You gotta give yourself a
My bad, my bad.
love. It's all
I'm never going to tell my sister about you.
Yes.
I am going to tell her.
Hashtag plus sexy fashions. Not a Y with an I. Okay, go ahead. Mhm. Go ahead. I'm sorry. It's about you.
No, it's not.
It's about you. I'm sorry. Let's go back. You do plus size.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I got
So,
another
yeah.
question after that.
Yeah, so I haven't really gotten into it heavy because I'm just really learning, how to put the garments together and, the way they fall on people. But I definitely, my first show I did, I think the highest size was a 10, maybe a 10, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an older lady. She was like 65.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
she rocked that. She
Wow.
rocked that linen dress.
Yes.
A 10 or 11?
Yeah.
Yep.
She looked really nice.
So when you gonna do 24, 25?
I'm working up to
30?
that.
Okay, you could use me as a prop. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to say, you know what I'm saying? I'm a rapper, but I'm still a gorilla, you understand? I'm a real, you know what I mean? I'm plus sexy, you know what I'm saying? You see me?
Yeah.
Come on, let's snatch baby. Shoot, call me anytime.
I will.
I'm damn serious. Shoot, you want a canvas? I can be your canvas. I'm trying to tell you. I'll be going like this down right here. Yes. Trying to told you. All right, I'm shut up. I'm worried about plus size. I don't care about y'all, because y'all, you know what I'm saying?
So we're gonna digress, and we're gonna talk about. I want you to talk about New York Fashion Week and some of the other experiences you've had recently with the fashion world. Can you give us a little insight about that?
Yeah, that. All that is crazy. Like I told you, everything is a timing, and the timing, when it's time, you have to say yes to it. Because sometimes we're so busy, we feel like it's just not the right time. To me, it wasn't the right time for me because my whole team had left. Barbers, stylists, there's only one stylist there. I felt like, okay, I cannot be traveling. I'm the breadwinner in the shop. I have to pay these bills. That was the thing that was going through my mind, but I knew that those opportunities was there and I needed to go. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go shut the shop down for a week. And I went to New York. I was actually asked, somebody told another designer about me, he wanted me to shadow him. And that's how I wound up being in New York Fashion Week and shadow a designer behind stage, because his line was going up, House of Gillian
Marie.
House of Gillian Marie, and it was an experience. It actually opened my eyes when I went there, and I was at the place where they were doing the fitting, and I just saw so many different designers, and the way they live out the box made me come back to live out the box. It was crazy.
Wow.
I needed that experience because I just saw myself as in this box and I'm trying to learn. But when I saw them, they was cutting garments up and sewing together and they were living. I said, I get it. So when I came back, the line that I did now made me live out the box.
Wow.
So I started really flowing in. I said, okay, I can take this piece if I cut it here. Because it's all about measurements. And I learned that if I measure this perfect with this perfect, I put these people, and it started making sense to me. So that was the first experience. Was New York was with Flying Solo. They have a store in New York, and they travel, and it goes from New York to Paris. It took me from New York to Paris. I just came back from Paris 2 weeks ago. That was a whole different level because the experience in New York were more people helping. The experience in Paris was less people helping. You were doing more of the work than a team doing the work. They made everybody become team players. They had to help each other.
In the New York?
No, in Paris.
In Paris,
Yeah.
okay.
New York had so many staff members to help. It was crazy. But when we went to Paris, the designers and the assistants and the models, they had to help one another. They wanted them to become team players.
I see.
Instead of making it seem like, yeah, no, I don't have time for you. They made us do it, and it was a good experience.
So I mean, if you had to, I mean, I know it's not necessary to compare, but if you had to compare, which experience would you say you actually learned more from?
Probably Paris.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, Paris. Because everything else was so programmed in New York. We did the fitting and steaming, but they had so many staff members that was doing everything. You didn't have the chance to be hands-on. Even the designer, they couldn't be back then when the models was putting on the clothes and gritty. They couldn't be near them.
Right.
They had people in place that already. That's frustrating because in your mind, you have a look and you know how you want them to, wear the garment. They couldn't be back to assist with that.
Right.
But in Paris, it was different.
Yeah, it was something that we were talking about the other day that I thought was interesting that I wanted you to kind of elaborate on when you were talking about like when a designer actually goes to these shows. What is the purpose of it? What is the main objective of a designer going to say Fashion Week or Paris to be in those shows?
With me, it was just the experience because I had never experienced the backstage, how it, flows. I felt like me going to Paris was the open door for me to go back to Paris. So when I go there, I wouldn't be so blinded. I would know how to move, what to do, how to deal with people. But I feel like a lot of designers, we just like art, we get inspired by other designers. I got inspired just seeing them. I was like, I would have never thought about putting that. How did you do that? Their mind is just so off the cusp. It blows. It just blows you to see these because you think you're a designer, but they're thinking so on a whole different level. With the big jacket so big, you can't even hardly walk. You're just like, who would think of that? But to me, that's inspiration.
Yeah, I think I was more thinking from a business perspective, because you were saying how like when you basically pay to be a part of the show.
It's platforms.
Platforms to show off your pieces for
magazines,
buyers, and that was the part I was more.
Okay, the company Flying Solo, you actually have to pay to be a part of that. Me personally, not trying to be funny, I love the experience, but I feel like my open door, God is all going to make a way for that. I don't have to be paying people a whole bunch of money because that's what's happening. It's favor. But if it happens, I'm sure he'll give me residual income. But most of the people on their part of it's a membership. They pay a lot of money, but them paying a lot of money allows them to be in magazines where they will go to their Flying Solo stores and they will pick out certain garments and they'll use them in the magazines.
Right.
And they'll wear their pieces in the magazine. So to them, that's an open door for their name to be out there. So that's why a lot of them were part of that.
Right. And is the audience? Are they spectators or are they buyers? Are they primarily the people who are actually watching the shows? Are they, because that's, I'm thinking to myself, if you're paying money, that it has to be some return if a person in the audience likes what you have and they try to, like, how do they contact the designers to get it? Or, I mean, like, what is that process?
See, I don't know how they do it, but I do know that I know that a lot of people that are in artists, we don't know them, but they're people that probably are that part of a magazine company or whatever, and they see the pieces and they talk to the person that actually owns that company, which is a Russian girl. She owns a jewelry store, and that's what I saw. And then it was people, a lot of the people there were family members. They just, they allowed them to come and have access to see their fashion. But I do know that there are people there, because there was a guy that walked to me. He was at the Raw Artist. It's people that you don't know there. And he asked me about my shirt. This design right here. And he was just like, I do this, I do that. How do you, people are there and we don't know what they really do, but he was asking me a whole bunch of questions.
What question?
Crazy.
What do you, have you done a lot of shows in the 757?
I haven't done one yet.
That's great. I say that to say this. It's a question and a statement. What made you just, when you went outside the box besides designing, but to just say, bump this, I'm gonna just go up, and you only been doing sewing for like 30 days and stuff like that. You killing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what made you say, I'm not gonna do these shows here right now. I'm gonna just see if I can just go here, and like, what made you think that hard?
I did it.
You just did it.
No. People saw my stuff on Instagram.
Really?
This company, Raw Artists, Natural Raw Artists, is an international company. Travels all over the world. They're based out of LA. They saw my T-shirts.
Oh wow.
And God unctioned me into it, because when I saw it, I thought they were actually asking me to show my artwork. So I did a live interview from him from LA, JD, and I said, "What is it that you want me to do?" He said, "I want you to do a fashion show." And I could have said yes or no, and I choked, and I was like, "I don't know how to sew, Lord." I said, "I'll do it." And when I said I did it, I hung up the phone. I said, "Okay, Lord, I got 30 days to take this look and put it together, and I need you to get somebody to help me." And I went to a business huddle, and this young lady named Sonia stood up and said, "I teach sewing classes and such and such." Walked over there, in 30 days she taught me how to sew.
Wow.
That's how my life just took off.
So how do you, when you get these big, what is the word? Give me a word. When you get these blessings.
Yeah, promotion, blessing.
What do you say to a newer designer that's scared to
You got to do it.
just do it?
Yeah, because see, what we miss is the opportunity is there. The yes is opening you up for you to think outside and be greater. We hinder when we say, "I'm not ready for that."
Right.
We have to say, I had to say yes to everyone that has come. I had to say yes. And each time I say yes, it took me higher, and it made it easier for me to be that designer.
Right.
It just started being natural for me.
Right.
So it's not a lot of times a lot of times, the Lord talks to me a lot about when people calling you to do this and do that. You have to know if that is for you to do. Every time somebody tell you to call, be in this show, be in that show, you have to know. You have to know. And it was just weird. He just did not see me right here doing it right now. He wanted to give me a bigger platform, because I felt like he already knew I already had it.
Yes.
I was mature, and he knew that I naturally already had that gift to be able to be a designer. And it wasn't about me connecting with somebody here or it was where he wanted me to be. And he wanted to show the world that, you know what, if you just surrender and let me be the driving force in your life, I could take you and do places. And he literally has been doing that. Even with my team that is around me, everything that he does for me gives them open doors for them. It's not just about me. I always tell them, when things are going down for me, things are going down for y'all. So we always make it a great experience. We laugh. We came here today, we were laughing. I always want them to get something out of it and know that God is in it. That's my life. That's my walk. And when I keep it like that, he allows those doors to open, because he gets the glory. I don't. So that's literally, I didn't seek it out. It just started happening. It was just one day they called me, hit me on Instagram, and was like, "We want you to do a fashion show at Howard Theater." And next thing you know, I put a garment together, did a fashion show, and people just been calling me left and right. Doors just been open, because it's my destiny. As a child, I knew I was going to be a designer. I used to sit in front of that TV and watch the couture shows. I just didn't know how to get there. And he told me it would not be through school. He told me to drop out of school. I actually went to the Art Institute, and he showed me a dream. He said, "I'm rerouting you. I do not want you to go to school." Because he wanted to show people that sometimes when we go to school, not knocking school, sometimes the gift that is already natural there, you don't have to pay. It's there.
Yep.
It's just you allow him to activate that gift, and that's what he did with me. So my speaking and all these open doors is to let people know when they ask me, it's like, "So what school or where you learn to design?" I learned from the design of God. He showed me. He said the gift was already there. It was just me saying in my mind that I can do it. When I said it, my hands naturally did it. And that's how it just started happening.
That's awesome, man. That's what's
Yes,
up.
it is.
So, okay, so I like to do something that's kind of like out of the box, I like to do something that's called a speed round. Basically, it's real random. It's like I'm gonna put some words out here, and I just want you to give me the first thing that comes to your mind. All right. So the first word I'm gonna give you is black.
Color.
Color. What about money?
Green.
What about dedication?
Dedication. Rewarding.
What about fashion?
Creative.
Creative. What about power?
Help.
Help. Wow.
Help.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Help people. Power.
That's great.
Help.
So, the reason why I do that is because you can learn a lot about people just with really simple things.
Yes.
And what I see is you're committed to what you're trying to do. You're following your heart, which is very important in life. And I live by that mantra. So,
Yeah.
and I know you do. So that's a wonderful thing. Well, I wanted to find out how can people get in touch with you if they like, let's say if we want to, because we did a fashion segment earlier, and I want people to be able to see the pieces that you have to offer. So how can they get in touch with you?
Okay, they can actually reach me on Zunique One Instagram page. We also have a Zunique One on Gmail account. They actually come to Jabor Salon Barber Day Spa. There actually is a set up like a mini boutique inside of the salon, 3845 Bonnie Road, Suite 102. But most of my pieces are on Instagram. They haven't released the pieces for the Raw Artist show that we just did. He said I should get it in the next couple of days, so you'll see the other pieces beside the two pieces that you saw here that I did with that line.
All right, wonderful. So I just want to thank you for coming by. I appreciate you doing this podcast with me.
Thank you.
And Penny as well, and our guest, and my homegirl Danielle. That's
Co-host plus
my-
Sexy
That's my
Fashions.
homegirl right there.
Hashtag.
We down for years. So
Yes.
thank y'all for listening to Harvest Radio, and this is Tony Ali, the Gene King, and I'm out. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you.